Event venue. I know it's not the greatest of detail. The site plan also shows a 120 by 50, so 6,000 square foot proposed venue building, as well as a 120 by 270 foot paved and unpaved parking lot. And there you'll see that located next to the building. So according to the business plan provided, the hours and days, the venue intends to be open at times consistent with other nearby events and winery hours. So for the winery tasting room, hours are anticipated to be Monday through Thursday from 12 to 5 seasonally, Friday from 12 to 10 p.m., Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 1 to 6. For the event venue, hours are anticipated to be Monday through Sunday. Events would end on Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m., with Friday and Saturday being extended to 11 p.m. According to the business plan as well, amplified music. The applicants do intend to have amplified music indoors. Limited amplified music would be allowed outdoors on weekends up to 11 p.m., which is consistent with what they said other venues, wedding receptions, and event receptions, and in recognition of Goshen's quiet hours of 12 to 7. And then also the anticipated barn event space has a maximum guest capacity of 300, but according to their business plan, they said most weddings will be around 120 to 140 people. There's a couple pictures for you just to give you an idea where we're at. So this is directly across the street on 42 from the North Oldham Fire Station. So here's one picture from the front of the property and from the other side. One view looking east down Highway 42 and then the other direction. And then across the street you see the fire station. Here are a couple of renderings of what possibly the building might look like. There's a couple here that they have provided, just to give you an idea of what they're looking at. And so in summary there, a conditional use permit and application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for agritourism building private event space located at 8600 West Highway 42 in Goshen. The potential conditions of approval, as always, this conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered at this September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments hearing. And then the winery tasting room hours of operation shall be what they have listed in their business plan as Monday through Thursday, 12 to 5, Friday, 12 to 10, Saturday, 12 to 6, and Sunday, 1 to 6. And then event venue hours of operation Monday through Sunday, with ending times Sunday through Thursday at 10 and 11 on Friday and Saturday. Also, conditions of approval, amplified music shall only be allowed indoors. Limited amplified outdoor music shall only be allowed on weekends up to 11, and no outdoor music shall occur Monday through Thursday. And then a maximum guest capacity shall be no greater than 300 people. And that is it on that one. If you all have any questions, Jim Urban will entertain any you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for Ryan? Okay, very good. We can have the applicant come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Barry Baxter, 117 West Main Street. I represent the applicant today. I've got a couple folks that are probably going to testify, so if I could get them sworn.
Right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So as Ryan indicated, this is a project that Skylight Stables would like to undertake on their property located on Highway 42. I think the only one who was on the board was you, Mr. Chairman, when they came for a similar project out Highway 22 probably 5 years ago for the property that was discussed in Ryan's presentation. There was an issue, I think, with the access to that property, and you all denied the requested conditional use permit at that time. So what they're looking at, and I'll let Mr. Vincent, our engineer, get up and speak a little bit about the proposal. What they're looking at is to utilize this property, which is obviously a large agricultural piece of property, for this agritourism and for the event space that is sort of part and parcel of what they're trying to do. I know that in Ryan's presentation, he showed you all some proposed buildings, and I'm going to tell you, these are renderings of the type of building that would be constructed if you all approve the permit. The reason that we have not picked out a particular one yet is because obviously there's an amount of cost involved, not knowing what the conditions might be, and they don't want to make a non-refundable deposit to get one of these buildings put on site, only to have an issue with either the size or the scope of the project and things like that. So these are basically the kinds of buildings we're talking about, but they are not necessarily the exact one that is going to be constructed on the property. So I want to make you all aware of that. I'm going to let Mr. Vincent get up and just generally talk about our project, the entrance and the driveway, things like that. He's got a drawing that he's going to want to put on the overhead. So if we can get it switched to that.
Switch to the
proposed event venue. I know it's not the greatest of detail. The site plan also shows a 120 by 50, so 6,000 square foot proposed venue building, as well as a 120 by 270 foot paved and unpaved parking lot. And there you'll see that located next to the building. So according to the business plan provided, the hours and days, the venue intends to be open at times consistent with other nearby events and winery hours. So for the winery tasting room, hours are anticipated to be Monday through Thursday from 12 to 5 seasonally, Friday from 12 to 10 p.m., Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m., and Sunday from 1 to 6. For the event venue, hours are anticipated to be Monday through Sunday. Events would end on Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m., with Friday and Saturday being extended to 11 p.m. According to the business plan as well, amplified music. The applicants do intend to have amplified music indoors. Limited amplified music would be allowed outdoors on weekends up to 11 p.m., which is consistent with what they said other venues, wedding receptions and event receptions, and in recognition of Goshen's quiet hours of 12 to 7. And then also the anticipated barn event space has a maximum guest capacity of 300, but according to their business plan, they said most weddings will be around 120 to 140 people. There's a couple pictures for you just to give you an idea where we're at. So this is directly across the street on 42 from the North Oldham Fire Station. So here's one picture from the front of the property and from the other side. One view looking east down Highway 42 and then the other direction. And then across the street you see the fire station. Here are a couple of renderings of what possibly the building might look like. There's a couple here that they have provided, just to give you an idea of what they're looking at. And so in summary there, a conditional use permit and application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for agritourism building private event space located 8600 West Highway 42 in Goshen. The potential conditions of approval, as always, this conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered at this September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments hearing. And then the winery tasting room hours of operation shall be what they have listed in their business plan as Monday through Thursday, 12 to 5, Friday, 12 to 10, Saturday, 12 to 6, and Sunday, 1 to 6. And then event venue hours of operation Monday through Sunday, with ending times Sunday through Thursday at 10 and 11 on Friday and Saturday. Also, conditions of approval, amplified music shall only be allowed indoors. Limited amplified outdoor music shall only be allowed on weekends up to 11, and no outdoor music shall occur Monday through Thursday. And then a maximum guest capacity shall be no greater than 300 people. And that is it on that one. If you all have any questions, Jim Urban will entertain any you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for Ryan? Okay, very good. We could have the applicant come forward.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Barry Baxter, 117 West Main Street. I represent the applicant today. I've got a couple folks that are probably going to testify, so if I could get them sworn.
Right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So as Ryan indicated, this is a project that Skylight Stables would like to undertake on their property located on Highway 42. I think the only one who was on the board was you, Mr. Chairman, when they came for a similar project out Highway 22 probably 5 years ago for the property that was discussed in Ryan's presentation. There was an issue, I think, with the access to that property, and you all denied the requested conditional use permit at that time. So what they're looking at, and I'll let Mr. Vincent, our engineer, get up and speak a little bit about the proposal. What they're looking at is to utilize this property, which is obviously a large agricultural piece of property, for this agritourism and for the event space that is sort of part and parcel of what they're trying to do. I know that in Ryan's presentation, he showed you all some proposed buildings, and I'm going to tell you, these are renderings of the type of building that would be constructed if you all approve the permit. The reason that we have not picked out a particular one yet is because obviously there's an amount of cost involved, not knowing what the conditions might be, and they don't want to make a non-refundable deposit to get one of these buildings put on site, only to have an issue with either the size or the scope of the project and things like that. So these are basically the kinds of buildings we're talking about, but they are not necessarily the exact one that is going to be constructed on the property. So I want to make you all aware of that. I'm going to let Mr. Vincent get up and just generally talk about our project, the entrance and the driveway, things like that. He's got a drawing that he's going to want to put on the overhead. So if we can get it switched to that.
Switch. Yeah.
He kept saying Larry, and I thought
Good. Okay, I need a motion to come back into session.
I'll make a motion that we come back into session.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Back in session. Board members, please make sure mics are on. Cell phones are off. Make sure cell phones are off, please. Thank you. Jim, did you want to talk to us about the timing and what you found out?
Well, for the benefit of everybody, and this is just an explanation, our deadline for all of our boards and commissions is the last Wednesday of the month. This board meets the third Thursday of the month. September 1st was on a Thursday, so it was the first Thursday. Normally, this meeting would happen next week. So because the deadline and then this extra special Thursday, that's why the notices didn't get through the mail at the required 14-day.
Okay.
So I think what has been determined, and you can ask the applicant, is that they are willing to table this docket till next month.
Okay. Barry? Thank you, Jim.
we agree to that, Mr. Chairman.
Barry? So I need a motion to table it?
I'm going to make a motion that we table docket OC-22-031 until next month's meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? It's been tabled. All right. Charlie, you want to go ahead and read the second one, please?
Docket OC 22032. An application has been filed requesting additional use permit for a non-owner occupied short-term rental property located at 3304 North Buckeye Lane, Goshen.
I'm going to make a motion to approve docket OC-22-032. Move to approve the conditional use permit. Use because the proposed use is essential or desirable to the community and is not in conflict with the elements, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan. Conditions of approval based on the applicant's testimony, monitoring, and management company. Move to approve with the conditions of approval being the conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. The applicant shall comply with all regulations concerning short-term rental properties outlined in Oldham County Zoning Regulations Section 250-050, and the applicant shall apply for and be issued a short-term rental property permit before renting the property.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second motion.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? It's been approved. All right. Charlie, you want to read the next one, please?
OC 22033. An application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling unit located at 11707 Hidden Creek Road, Prospect.
Oh, you want to, either one. You can either stand over his shoulder, or if you want to take a seat, you can.
So once again, Ryan Fisher, Oldham County Planning and Development Senior Planner. So this is for what's actually going to be 3 different items you're going to be looking at. There'll be 2 conditional use permits and then a variance for this project, which is a little different than the way the proposal was written originally. So an application's been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a
Ryan, hang on. We just need to switch to the podium. I know. We're
an outdoor kitchen, a pool bathroom, and a sitting area. Section 250-030B, number 1 states that on parcels 5.01 acres or larger, 2 accessory structures, so that is any structure over 120 square feet, are allowed, with a 3rd accessory structure allowed with the approval of a conditional use permit. So currently they have a pool cabana next to the pool, is located on the property, with the proposed ADU and the new outdoor pavilion that will require that conditional use permit for that 3rd accessory structure. So that's second point.
Okay.
And there's just the chart that we have in our regulation showing 5.01 acres or larger. You're allowed 2, and you can get 3 with a conditional use permit. According to the applicant's justification statement, the applicant plans to move into the detached accessory dwelling unit due to health concerns and the size of the current home. His son, daughter-in-law, and grandsons will move into the existing primary dwelling and assist with the applicant's care. So here's a diagram of the property. So existing house, your existing pool, right behind the existing pool is where that pool cabana is. And so the breezeway will connect to the outdoor pavilion and then to the new guest wing in the rear. And then here's just another diagram of it. Not a super great detail on there, but, and then that second floor, once again, is just going to be storage. And so here's some pictures from the property, and this is from the driveway looking out to where it will go, is in this general area here. Next to the pool will be where that outdoor pavilion is located. And then the ADU is about where these trees are going to be. So here's a look at the pool area in the rear of the house. The rear of the existing primary dwelling. Out into the rest of the land, there's the barn back there in the back. Here is really the closest property owner to it, shaded with a lot of trees. You could hardly see the house when I took the photo. So that is to the left side. That would be 11709 Hidden Creek. And here is to the other side. There is actually nobody, I believe, that resides in 11711, if I can recall. And then just another view from the driveway as I was heading out. So 3 different things here. The first one, conditional use permit to allow the construction of the detached accessory dwelling unit. So those conditions of approval will be the condition of approval, or the conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing, and that second floor shall not be used as living space. The second part, conditional use permit. The applicant's requesting a conditional use permit to allow the construction of a 3rd detached accessory structure. And that potential condition of approval would be, it applies to the application considered here today at the September 15th, 2022 Board of Adjustments public hearing. And then the maximum square footage variance. The applicant's requesting that maximum square footage variance to allow the accessory dwelling unit to exceed 25% of the primary structure's square footage. So the allowable square footage, once again, 1,181 square feet. The proposed square footage of the ADU would be 1,572, and so the applicant is asking for a 391 square foot variance for that. And then the conditions of approval, the variance shall only apply to the application considered here today at this hearing. You have any questions of me?
Thank you, Ryan. Questions for Ryan?
Yeah, I've got one. Would you please go back to the drawing that showed the overview of what's proposed to be built, sort of like the plan that showed the whole?
You want this one or that one?
Well, hang on. We've got a camera shot. We need a podium shot. There we go. Oh, no. There we go.
That one.
You want this one?
Under item number 2, the conditional use permit. Right, looking for a conditional use permit to allow the construction of a 3rd detached accessory structure. The house is 1, the cabana's 2, and then the new guest wing. Are we calling that number 3, or are we talking about the outdoor pavilion? Is that number 3?
So the pool cabana is 1, okay, accessory structure.
Okay.
The new outdoor pavilion will be the 2nd, and then the guest wing will now be the 3rd.
The primary residence doesn't count in that equation. Okay,
No,
that's where I'm getting confused.
Accessory.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around this. There's a lot of moving parts here. Thank you.
Ryan, the barn doesn't count, even though it's on the property.
It does not, because it as agricultural use, it does not count in that.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome. Anything else?
A couple. so first of all, and maybe the regulations have changed, but connecting by breezeway, does that not make it an attached ADU?
This is not a conditioned space. That connection is not.
Breezeway is not conditioned.
It's only when it's conditioned does it become part of the principal structure.
Okay. So has that regulation changed? Because I thought it used to be a wall could.
Quite some time ago.
Okay. All right. Secondly, the pavilion is 576 square feet. The max variance that we're currently asking for is 391, which is just the not the pavilion. We're looking for a variance on the max square footage based on the ADU.
The ADU can only be 25% of the primary structure square footage.
You can only be 25% of the primary structure. What about so I'm thinking it's not only the ADU, but it's the ADU plus the pavilion. Do we not need a variance of 900 square feet? Would we not be adding those two together?
It's only for the ADU.
The ADU.
Only
The pavilion doesn't matter.
Right.
In this. Okay. All right. I'm good.
Just to further explain, in the chart that Ryan showed you, because of the size of the lot, you can have as much accessory structure as you want. There's no limit, but you can only have a third with a conditional use. So that, again, and these are all separate, not really applications, but separate parts of the application and separate decisions.
Yeah, one for the variance, the second for the ADU. Board members, you good? Thank you, Ryan. Okay, if we can have the applicant come forward.
Ryan, can you pull that picture of the drawing? Yeah. Yeah, that one. Kevin Hayes, 11707 Hidden Creek Road, Prospect, Kentucky, 40059.
Right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thanks, Ryan and Jim, for your help in this application. This application has come about thinking about basically end of life and life for me, planning to move into wherever. I've been in this house for 34 years. I've raised my family here. One of my sons here, my daughter, my other son, all public school, Oldham County, lifetime residents. So started thinking about end of life and where you going, you going to a nursing home at that time? Do you go to assisted living, anything like that? And so we started kicking it around, and I go, man, could you possibly live that close to your son for the rest of your life? And I don't know, he might have said okay, but anyway, that's where this application came from, and his wife's a registered nurse, and so it makes perfect sense. And then I started thinking, well, I can't live in the main residence with you guys, and vice versa. I don't think that they'd want me to do that, but so I think that we started talking about it and started kicking around plans and maybe blowing the house out. I mean, I guess there's no regulation. I could have 15 bedrooms and 15 bathrooms if it was all under the same roof. I don't think it makes any difference. But from a space standpoint, we really don't have any restrictions. The farms, Hidden Creek is 15 lots of acreage between 5 and 12 acres, or I think Sarah has 11 acres. So it's not like anybody's living on top of each other over there, and it's very spaced out. And so I said, well, maybe we could build something that's what you're looking at. I mean, this is like the 10th iteration of the plan from the architect. So I thought that the process would be best to go through my homeowners association first to see if anybody had an objection over there. And it came with unanimous approval from the board, Hidden Creek Homeowners Association Board, of which Sarah is a member of the board, and also the most immediate next door neighbor to me. Also, I took a sampling of several of the neighbors around there, and I've got a couple letters that I was going to give to Ryan beforehand, but I can submit these into the record of just a couple neighbors that also in support. These are not board members, these are just neighbors in general of this 15 farm subdivision out there. So this is the iteration that we came up with that would allow me a little space. I'd be close to them, and that's kind of where we are. Other cultures, generations live together, and take care of each other, and that's what I'd like to do with my family. So the decision today is basically where I'm going to end up, I guess. I think some justifications for this. It's not really a precedent-setting decision that you're making today because this property is unique. It's not Lot 1, Norton Commons, trying to put, a big structure behind a big structure and a little bitty thing. It's a big lot of property. In fact, it's not visible from anybody all the way around. The property behind, you'd have to have a helicopter to see my house. Property to the, and I know you have it in front of you, Larry, the property to one side, she's so far down the hill, she can't see it. Sarah, who will speak in just a second, she lives to the other side of me, and it's covered by a tree buffer. She won't even be able to see the structure, and you can't see it from the street. So there's no visible evidence that the structure will even be behind my house. There's no setback issues. There's no easement issues. There's no encroachment issues. Nothing that would prevent this structure from being back there. This is not a commercial endeavor. I don't ever plan on it being an Airbnb or rented out to anybody else. It's going to be for me and me alone. I guess when I pass on, we can restrict this however you guys want to restrict it, and I have no issue with that. And there's a tax benefit to the county, bigger tax base. Hey, ring, ring, dollar bills. So, basically, thank you for your consideration. I think it's a good project, and there's been a lot of thought going into this. And that's all. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions for Kevin? Kevin, do you want to submit those letters of support? I wish we could put them up on the overhead and show everybody. Those are which neighbors?
This is 11701 Hidden Creek, John Spiegelhalter, and 117 Rick Rubenstein, 11700 Hidden Creek.
Okay,
Pull these out.
that's fine.
Should I give them to you or give them to Ryan?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Oh, there.
All right, so I'm just board members. I'm looking at the map that's in your packet, and the two that we just got there are not immediate neighbors, but they're in the neighborhood.
Again, there's only 15 back there. I feel like if you needed me to parade everybody in here, I could.
All right, thank you, Kevin. I'm going to take a seat. Ryan, did we get any other letters or email of support or opposition?
No, I got nothing.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Yes, ma'am. Come forward. Good morning. If you can state your name and address and get sworn in.
Sarah McHenry, 11709 Hidden Creek Road, Prospect, Kentucky, 40059.
All right, Sarah. And
Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
okay, you're in support. If you want to.
Yes, I am in support. So I am a next door neighbor to Mr. Hayes. We're the 11709, so we're the house right next door. We've been in that property for about 3 years, moved here from out of state. And I've reviewed, he's been very upfront and transparent with his plan to add this addition, and we have had no issue with it. Like he mentioned, there's a tree line that separates our properties, so it's not visible. This addition would be visible from our property. And there's a good amount of distance because our lots are so large. So there's no issue from our standpoint for this. I also am a board member of the HOA on that property. And the board members did have a meeting regarding this addition, and we're all in favor of it and support of all the bylaws and restrictions for our subdivision. Had no issue with the addition.
Thank you, Sarah. Questions for Sarah? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else here wishing to speak in favor? All right, opposed? Oh, yeah, Ryan?
One real quick thing. This is in your packet already, and I don't know if it was in the letters that Mr. Hayes gave you, but there is a letter from the HOA board that is in there in support. Is it? Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
All right. Nobody opposed to the application? Board members, questions for anybody?
No.
Close Jim?
I think you really should address the variance first for the maximum square footage, and then the conditional use for the
ADU.
and then the other is for the third accessory structure.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to close the floor for public hearing, open it up for discussion. Two motions. We'll take one, we'll vote on it, and then come back and take the other.
I understand everything the applicant submitted. I think that the testimony and the staying in place during the primary home with the family certainly makes sense. In order for me to submit a motion, I'm going to request a 5-minute recess so that I can put my thoughts together on that. In light of the fact we've got a number of parts, I might even be able to get it done in 3 minutes. But I'm going to need to take a brief recess to get this put together.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's. Do we need a recess or just go for it? Yeah.
Yes.
Make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
Go ahead.
Again, or I'll make the motion for a 5-minute recess.
Second it. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? 5-minute recess. Thank you. Mic off. Okay, we need a motion to come back into session.
I make a motion to reconvene the session.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, back in. All right, I don't know if I had called for a motion before we were in discussion, but I'm ready to take a motion if you're ready.
Okay, I'm going to make three different motions in light of the fact that there's three different points to this application. First one, we're going to make a motion to approve the variance of 391 square feet because it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations. Given the testimony that we've received here today, it will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity because of the large tracts that was discussed in testimony and we saw in the images. Per the applicant's testimony and the neighbor speaking in for the approval, we had the tree line that created the screening, the large tracts, the surrounding neighbors will not be able to see it. And the potential condition of approval would be the variance shall only apply to the application considered at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing.
Okay, very good, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second motion.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that one's been approved.
I'm going to move to the second item. Motion to approve the conditional use permit to allow the construction of a detached accessory unit because the proposed use is essential or desirable to the community and not in conflict with elements, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan based on one or more of the following factors. Granting the conditional use permit will allow the proper integration into the community of a use specifically named in the zoning regulations. The character and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community and its surroundings are appropriate. And the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding land uses and the general character of the area, including such factors such as the traffic, noise, and lighting, and things of that nature. So the potential conditions of approval, the conditional use permit shall only apply to the plan considered the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing, and the second floor shall not be used as living space as in the applicant's testimony.
All right, very good. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Very good. Next one.
A motion to approve the conditional use permit to allow the construction of a third detached accessory structure. The proposed use is essential or desirable to the community and will not conflict with the elements, objectives, and policies of the comprehensive plan based on the following factors. Granting the conditional use permit will allow for the proper integration into the community of a use specifically named in the zoning regulations. The character and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community and the surroundings are appropriate. And the proposed use is compatible with the surrounding land use and the general character of the area based on the applicant's testimony and the images that we've seen. And a potential condition of approval, the conditional use permit shall only apply to the plan considered at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing.
Very good, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved. Okay, Charlie, you want to read the next one, please?
Docket OC 22034. An application has been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling located in the 2100 block of Contemporary Lane, Crestwood.
Once again, Ryan Fisher, Oldham County Planning and Development Senior Planner. So this is an application been filed requesting a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling unit in the 2100 block of Contemporary Lane in Crestwood. It's in an AG1 agriculture area. There is a little bit of conservation there, as you'll see here in a second, but once again, where the property is going to sit, where the home and the pole barn are looking to be built is in AG1. Sits on 17.48 acres of land, no previous site history. And there is the parcel of land on Contemporary. There is, you see the zoning map of AG1, a little bit of conservation there in the background in the wooded area that you'll see here in a second. And then once again, nothing on the property at this time. It's vacant use with a home and pole barn preparing to be built. So the applicant's requesting a conditional use permit for a detached accessory dwelling unit on their 17.48 acre tract. The applicant is proposing to build an 808 square foot slab on grade pole barn to include a garage, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, living room, and a covered porch. Section 250-040 item E number 1 states that a detached accessory dwelling unit may only be allowed after the approval of a conditional use permit. Section 250-040 item E number 5, just like the previous one, states that detached accessory dwelling units shall not exceed 25% of the primary structure square footage. So the proposed primary home that they're going to be building simultaneously with this pole barn will be 3,387 square feet, which would allow a maximum of 848 square feet of ADU. So it meets that. So according to the applicant's justification statement, the applicant plans to build their primary home and the associated ADU on the property. The pole barn will primarily be used for the applicant to work on vehicles and woodworking projects, but also serve as a quote-unquote man cave. The applicants state that none of the areas will be used for rental purposes. And there is a site plan of the proposed residence and then the proposed garage and pole barn that we're looking at there in regards to this conditional use permit. Here are some pictures of the land. This is looking back from what will be kind of the front entrance onto this property, back to where the home will be built. And here is one from the proposed location, looking at the properties to the right. And then the property to, actually that would be the property to the left if you're looking at it, and then to the right, which is 2119 Contemporary. Here's another view. So this property over here is actually has a 2170. It's actually got a Mount Zion Road address. The gravel road comes in off of there. And then I'll look back to the rear of the property. Here is a rendering of what the pole barn will look like. You can see 808 square feet. Living room, bathroom, master bedroom, kitchen area, and then several garages with a covered porch. And then here is the renderings for the primary dwelling, just to show you the size difference there. So the potential conditions of approval, the conditional use permit shall only apply to the application considered here at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing, and there shall be no commercial activity conducted out of the accessory structure. Anybody have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Ryan. I have one. Where is the primary residence on this property?
Well, it's not there yet, but it will go. So the red circle is the ADU that we're looking at. The proposed residence will go directly in front. According to the builder, those will be done at the same time. They're going to build those simultaneously.
Primary, according to, and I guess I can ask something the same, but your understanding is they're building both primary and the ADU at the same time?
That is my understanding. But the builder is here today, so he can answer those questions.
Access from that road?
It is, they will probably be able to answer this a little bit more, but these two homes will face, so these two areas, according to the builder, when I talked to him, are going to face this lake across the street. And so I believe the access road, you can see where that path is already in the ground. I believe it is accurate. Once again, they'll probably be able to answer that question more accurately for you.
Okay, thank you.
Don't believe.
What is the regulation? It just, and I know exactly what you just said. We're going to ask the applicant the same thing about building at the same time, but what is the regulation about having an accessory dwelling unit prior to a primary residence being built? What has to be proven or shown to say the primary residence has been built and the ADU follows? What evidence is required? And I'm saying that just so the applicants will know that you have to have a.
Yeah, if you want to make a binding element that they have to pull both building permits and start both structures at the same time.
That's what's required? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that would be one way, and that then, when we go to do inspections, and again, if that's what their intention is, then we would do a footer inspection as an example on both structures at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, that would be an easy way of.
Need like a certificate of occupancy prior, to prove that prior to the, however you're.
It's a good point, but I think if it were that they were simultaneous, it would cover that.
All right, very good.
If they intend to do something different, then we'll have a different discussion.
Any other questions for Ryan?
Larry, no, but I guess I got one for you, but we'll go ahead.
All right, thanks.
Okay, now I ask you a question.
Before.
So under the notes, it says that item number 5, if you look at our packet, second page, point 5, according to the applicant's justification statement, the applicant plans to build their primary home and associated ADU on the property. But Jim, you're saying that to make that a potential condition of approval, then to put like there's a point in there that building permits will be pulled simultaneously. Is that what I heard you say? Okay.
I mean, I think if you did that, it would require that both permits, they couldn't come in and pull the ADU first and only.
Ask the applicant if they're okay with that and if that's what they'll testify to.
Their intention is, and if they're okay with that.
Thank you.
If we can have the applicants come forward, please. You already know our first question, so if you can state your name and address and get sworn in.
Name is Nathan Winkle. Address currently is 2701 North Highway 53, LaGrange.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, Nathan, if you want to justify the project and answer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've been on in Oldham County for 18 years. We've been out on Highway 53 that whole time due to traffic and all the other things you guys have been debating for the last couple of months and the continued growth out that way. We're looking to be a little bit more rural, a little bit quieter. So this is the house for us. So as we get ready to build the house, to answer the question before it's asked, we definitely intend to build the house and the barn at the same time. The accessory structure, to use the technical name, does have a small living space in it. Both of the horses are going to come out of the gate at the same time. Which one finishes first? I mean, that's really up to my builder, right? But the intent is that we're going to pull all the permits at the exact same time. The work's going to start at the same time. I don't want to pay the concrete man multiple times to come and do the work, right? So the space, there's things that'll go in that accessory dwelling that I'm not allowed to put in my wife's new house, such as deer and fish and other things like that. So that's the point of having a little bit of a separate space. And when we have guests come and our adult children come back home and stuff like that, they have space to say, we're not going to rent it out. I have no intentions to do that. And the only thing I work on are the same junk vehicles I keep buying over and over. So they're my own. So there's no, off-road track or anything crazy like that happening out there. We just intend to have a nice, quiet, that's one of the reasons we picked this property on Floyd's Fork. So.
Thank you, Nathan. Questions? Nathan, you okay with I think you heard Ryan say a potential condition of approval is no commercial activity. You okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. I mean, we don't intend any commercial activity. I work from home. My wife and I work from home, but there's no customers, nothing like that. So that's no impact to us at all.
Okay. Any other questions for Nathan?
No, I think that based on his testimony saying that he'd be, pulling both the permits simultaneously for the ADU and the primary structure. Answers the only question that I had.
Thank you, Nathan.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Ryan, letters of support or opposition, did we get any?
Fielded 2 phone calls on this particular property. One was from, and I'll show you, you've got the map pulled up there, is a neighboring resident, Terry Butler, who's got a Mount Zion Road address. He was just concerned on what their access was going to be. I guess he's got an existing gravel road. He was making sure that that wasn't what they were planning to do as far as the access to their property. We talked about it on the phone. He said he was fine with that. He just wanted to kind of clarify. And then also got a call from another neighboring property owner, Brad Rocky, who just had questions about the process. He didn't really even, what was a conditional use permit? What are they, trying to do? And then just concerns about it possibly being Airbnb, which I think have been answered. So, and both of them said they were fine for me to say those things on record for them.
Access is off Contemporary Lane, right?
I'll let them answer that.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I meant to address that. So yes, we intend to have the driveway come in off of Contemporary Lane. As you can see on the map that should be on your screen right now, it looks like where I've driven for the past 3 months through that hay meadow right there. I think, give or take, that's where we're going to put the driveway. Look, I don't want to drive through a gully and have to put culverts in and disturb natural water flow back to the creek. I don't have to mess with my driveway washing out. So, between our dirt folks and our builder and myself, we'll figure out where the best lie for that driveway is, but it will definitely be off Contemporary Lane.
Right,
and we also have ordered a stick survey, which I believe is going to be through part of Contemporary Lane based on what we understand from the PVA office and the original developer, which was Gary Dykes. So, none of that's going to present any issue, but we're definitely planning to come off Contemporary Lane. And this is the 7th and final house in Contemporary Lane. There's 6 dwellings that are off of this private lane right now. The HOA president lives right up off Mount Zion Road at the first lot there that you see is 7L. So this will be the 7th and final house in this area.
All right. Thank you, Nathan.
Thanks.
Anybody here wishing to speak in favor of the application? Yes, sir. Come forward. Morning. Name and address and be sworn in.
Rocky, R-A-Q-U-E, address 2119 Contemporary Lane, Crestwood, Kentucky, 40014.
Do you solemnly swear to, raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Good morning. I came here this morning to hear the testimony. Obviously, I'm the neighbor that lives at the back of the property, 2119, so it's the lot furthest in the back there, so obviously we'll be neighbors. Obviously, when I spoke to Ryan, wanted to understand the process, concerned about, obviously the accessory dwelling unit potentially being something like an Airbnb or commercial property. Obviously, this is a very quiet neighborhood, very tiny road, if you even want to consider it that, pretty rough road, so concerned about traffic coming in and out of the neighborhood. But after understanding what the property owners are presenting and speaking with them here today, I feel very comfortable with what they're proposing and support of what they're planning to do. Don't have any concerns about that, and I think it will be a nice addition to the neighborhood, and looking forward to having them as neighbors.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Brad. Questions for Brad? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to speak in favor? Opposed? Board members, questions for anybody? Oh. All right, I'm going to close the floor for public hearing, open it up for discussion.
I think that the testimony that we received from the applicant, and furthermore, the fact that he had an opportunity to meet his neighbor just this morning based on the neighbor's testimony, and he's in support of it, looks like a good project. And the fact that, as we had discussed regarding pulling permits simultaneously, I would be in favor of supporting and approving that.
All right, very good. Ready to take a motion?
Okay, move to approve the conditional use permit to allow the construction of a detached accessory dwelling unit. Because the proposed use is essential or desirable to the community and not in conflict with the elements objectives and policies of the comprehensive plan based on the following. Granting the conditional use permit will allow for the proper integration into the community of a use specifically named in the zoning regulations. The character and objectives of the proposed use and the potential impacts on the community and its surrounding areas are appropriate. The testimony that we've heard today from the applicant, based on the maps that we see as to the size of parcel of land, it certainly fits within that. The potential conditions of approval. The conditional use permit shall only apply to the plan considered at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. There shall be no commercial activity conducted out of the accessory structure. And per the applicant's testimony, the permits for the primary dwelling and the ADU shall be pulled simultaneously when they go to get the permits.
Good, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Been approved. And Charlie, we have one more to go. You could read the next one.
Before we do that one, I don't seem to have 035. I have 34 in the packet, but I don't have 035. Was it a late ad or? Okay. All right, fine, be that way. Docket OC 22034. Oh, no, that's the one we just did. 35, yeah, that's the one I did. Okay. OC 22035, an application has been filed requesting a road frontage variance for a tract located at 4231 Dawkins Road, LaGrange.
Once again, Ryan Fisher, Oldham County Planning and Development Senior Planner. So this is an application that's been filed requesting a road frontage variance for a tract located at 2431 Dawkins Road in LaGrange. AG1 Agricultural District. Its use currently is residential in nature on 11 acres of land. You good? Okay. Site history on this, there was actually a road frontage variance that was issued for this property of 300 feet approved by the Oldham County Board of Adjustments for the existing Tract 1, which you'll see when we get to these maps, it'll make more sense, on July 20th, 2000. That was docket 3206. So here is that existing 2431 parcel currently. There is a section of CO1 there in front, but once again, primarily we're talking AG1 zoning area. Here is that current structure on 2431 Dawkins Road. So the applicant's requesting a road frontage variance for a new proposed 11-acre tract to be known as Tract 2. And then once again, July 20th, 2000, the Oldham County Board of Adjustments did approve a road frontage variance for the existing Tract 1 of 300 feet. The required road frontage for properties owned to AG1, 2.5 acres or larger, is 300 feet. The applicant is actually proposing to shift the existing property lines between the two lots to provide a buildable lot for his daughter, and the proposed Tract 2 being 11 acres in nature. So the reconfiguration of Tract 1 through some consolidation of these lots and creating the new 11-acre Tract 2 makes Tract 2 landlocked with 0 road frontage on the public right-of-way, therefore requiring that road frontage variance of 300 feet. Go back here. The applicant has prepared a minor plat and will also produce a road maintenance agreement between Tract 1 and Tract 2 when they come to pull that paperwork. Per the applicant's justification statement, the applicant wishes to create a buildable lot for his daughter on the family farm. Other properties in the area have been granted road frontage variances for new home construction, and the project encourages a continued land use and preserving the rural character of the area. So here is that existing Tract 1 that we looked at on our aerial image a second ago. Here is your 300-foot road frontage variance that was issued back in 2000 by the Board of Adjustments. As you can see, it's got no road frontage. Here is this new proposed 300-foot road frontage variance for what will be this new Tract 2. As you can see in green, the new proposed Tract 2. So when this is all said and done, these property lines will be removed. Tract 1, 4 at the top, and 3 will all be consolidated into one lot. And then the new tract 2 will be created. Once again, no road frontage variance, or no road frontage, so thus the need for the variance. Here are some pictures from the road of the property. This is looking up more towards, this is 2401 Dawkins Road. And then as you can see, this road forks, and this barn here we're looking at as it forks to the left is circled on the map, showing you kind of where we're looking. And then a couple shots here going up and down the roadway, just to give you an idea where we're at, and then across the street. So in summary, they are looking for a road frontage variance for tract 2. That required road frontage is 300 feet according to our regulations. The requested road frontage would be 0 feet, so the variance requested is 300 feet. Potential conditions of approval: the variance shall only apply to the plans considered here today at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. A minor plat application and survey must be submitted to staff for review and approval prior to the issuance of any building permits. And then the shared road maintenance agreement shall be prepared and agreed upon by all parties affected and recorded with the minor plat. You have any questions for me?
Yeah, I've got one. Go back to we're showing all 4 tracks. Are they did I hear you correctly? They're taking 1, 3, and 4 and combining those? Is that the intent? And then, so they'll eventually just be 2 tracks, 1 and 2? Is that correct?
You can see here on this survey a little bit better where you've got the little marks showing that these property lines, so all these 3 lots are going to be consolidated, and then the smaller lot. So you're really just kind of shifting originally you had 1 lot at tract 1 and the other larger lot around it. Well, now it's going to be shifted, if that makes any sense.
All right. Any other questions for Ryan?
Curiosity, where's the current house sitting? Is it on tract 1?
Current house is on tract 1.
Brian, if you'd indulge me for a second. As I'm looking at the map that you've got up, you're indicating 4 tracts of land at this moment. Is that correct?
Currently, there are 4 tracts of land, yes.
That's the way it is at this moment as it's recorded.
Yes.
And
Nope. Okay.
I'll ask the applicant when they come up.
All right. Thank you.
Just leave that shot up. All right, if we can have that.
Barry Baxter, 117 West Main Street. I represent the applicant, Mr. LaFan. He and Mr. Vincent are going to present this application, so I don't know what order they want to do it in. Probably let Mr. Vincent get up, and he'll probably address right off the bat the question that Mr. Funk raised.
If you want to come to the podium and get sworn, yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. And then if you can state your name and address.
Okay, I am Bob Vincent Engineering Land Surveying, 1000 Cherrywood Place, Suite 200, LaGrange 40031. So, Ron, to answer your question, currently Tract 1 is 14.3 acres, and that has the house that Mr. LaFan currently resides, okay? So tracts 4, 2, and 3 are now just 1 tract, okay? So we want to create tract 2, and when we do that, we sever that existing 67 acres. We can't create tract 4 without creating another road frontage variance, which we don't want to do. And then tract 3, we could create with the road frontage, but that's not the desire. So what we're going to end up with is tract 1, 4, and 3 will be 1 tract. And then the tract 2, which is in green on the screen there, will be the 11 acres that he will convey to his daughter, and his daughter and son-in-law will build a house on it. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Hang on, it does make sense, but in creating tract 2, the result of that is you inevitably create this tract 4, correct? Before you Z them together, right? Consolidate them. You have this other tract.
It will all occur
simultaneously. Okay, good.
One step.
Going is, do you need road frontage variance for that tract 4 before it all gets consolidated? But if it's all at the same time,
Tract 4 will never technically be created.
Right.
It'll just get absorbed into track one when we do the minor plat application.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I didn't know if they're going to do a full application testimony or if we're just straight into the question portion of it. Because I do, but perhaps when the applicant speaks, he may answer my question.
Name and address.
Fan 2431 Dawkins Road, LaGrange, Kentucky 40031.
Hey, Bruce.
The primary reason why we're doing this obviously is to give land to our daughter to build a house on now. And whenever myself or my wife depart the pattern of this world, plan on leaving the majority of the land to our daughter and also the house and some of our acreage that's on track one to our son. So that's the intent under the trust.
All right, very good.
Okay, now I have a question, please. So it's my understanding that you already have a road variance because the entrance is to track one presently, so you already have a variance in place.
This track that's shown underneath where the green is, that was left to my sister after my mother passed away last year. That first part of that roadway goes over a creek. It has a bridge. So we got a variance for that and then built our road past the barn out to our house. So it goes up to our house, we built.
A variance for that driveway.
We do.
So basically, if I understand this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, if we approve the variance for track 2, technically nothing's changing, but in the future you're going to be adding another dwelling off this road and variance that already exists. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're all together on the same page. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Family that shares that road entrance. Myself, my sister, right now.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Jim, you got something? You have anything? Okay. Letters of support or opposition? Nothing? Nobody else here in the audience? No support or opposition? No final statements, comments? No rebuttal? Good. Questions for anybody?
Did you have something else, Bob? I thought you looked like you were getting ready to get up. No? Okay.
Questions for anybody? All right, I'll close the floor, open it up for discussion.
Now that I wrap my mind around this, it appears to me as if by granting this variance for track 2, it's almost as if we're just shifting a variance or approving the addition of track 2. The variance of track 1's already in place. And we're pretty much just moving along from what I gather. Jim's saying yes. Okay. In light of the information that we have, the testimony given, and the fact that the variance is already there, I would be in favor of approving it as submitted.
All right, I'm ready for a motion.
Motion to approve a road frontage variance for track 2 of 300 feet because it will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public, and will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations because there's already the variance in place for track 1. I make a motion to approve as submitted. The conditions of approval: road frontage variance shall only apply to the application considered at the September 15th, 2022 Oldham County Board of Adjustments public hearing. A minor plat application and survey must be submitted to the staff for review and approval prior to the issuance of any building permits. A shared road maintenance agreement shall be prepared and agreed upon by all parties affected and recorded with the minor plat.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second motion.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, my confusion was based upon the schedule I have shows a docket 36. Apparently that was dropped,
yes.
when revised, so that's where my confusion was.
That's correct.
All right, very good. We have minutes for last month. Did you guys get a chance to review that? And do you have any additions or changes?
View them.
I reviewed them also. No changes or comments.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes for August 18th, 2020.
2022.
2. Forgot the 2.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's been approved. Any other business?
Tabled the docket item, so you will have a October meeting. And do we have any other applications as of now?
All right, anything else?
Have we run into any problems with any of these where people haven't gotten letters?
Well, what we really need to do is adjust our deadline. Quite honestly, it's out forever. It's been the last Wednesday of the month. We need to make it a week before that, because immediately on Thursday, we have to get ready to advertise for, I think the first one is TRC if we have one, and then the Board of Adjustments. I mean, the deadline for getting it into the newspaper. So really, I need to change the deadline. And it forever, we've scrambled and done this, and I finally realized, why are we rushing? Let's just change the deadline, make it a week earlier. That will accommodate this weird month where, again, it was, first day of September was a Thursday. So, and it will help us, kind of relieve some of the pressure of having to do it immediately and run. So we're going to work on that. I may just wait, the calendar's already out, and start a new calendar on January of 23 that puts that deadline a week earlier, since we're so close to the end of the year. But the real question is, we can't rely on the post office to deliver mail. We had some that took, again, 8 days just to go across the county because it goes to Owensboro to be sorted to come back. Well, and if you remember the old days, if you went down to the post office, there was actually a slot that said LaGrange Mail. And if you throw something, even Crestwood, in there, it would get delivered. Maybe not the next day, but certainly the day after that. That's not, just doesn't happen anymore.
When you rewrite the regulation, I don't know how it's currently worded, but it shouldn't say that the neighbors should be notified. Its notice was sent 7 to 21 days, or however you want.
No, that's we aren't rewriting that. I'm only changing the deadline.
Oh.
And the requirement is actually in the state statute, and we can't change that. So there were 2 notices, and both of them are actually in different state statutes. There's a public notice requirement of the 7 to not less than 7, not more than 21 days. That's really pretty weird that there's a maximum. Why not notify earlier? But the other one is in KRS 100, where it talks about, and that was the one that quite honestly was, we always did the 7 to 21 and seemed to fit. This one, again, this meeting just happened to fall where they didn't get notice. So I think we'll fix it by changing the deadline.
Okay. Get a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second motion.
Discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting adjourned. That's Dirty Turtle.